Meeting the protector. The inner protector is not your enemy. It's a part of you that was formed to help you survive. It shows up in the aftermath of emotional pain, trauma, or deep vulnerability. Maybe as a child, you were criticized for expressing sadness, so your protector learned to suppress emotion and stay strong. Or perhaps you were hurt after trusting someone, so the protector decided it was safer to keep people at arm's length. This part of you doesn't care about growth or intimacy. It cares about safety, and often its methods look like defensiveness, avoidance, overthinking, perfectionism, or even isolation. The protector often masquerades as personality. Because the protector's patterns get reinforced over time, it often begins to feel like your personality. For example, someone who's deeply guarded might say, "I just don't open up easily," not realizing that this isn't a core trait, but a protective mechanism developed through years of disappointment or betrayal. The people pleaser might say, "I just like to keep the peace," when really they fear rejection so deeply that their protector avoids all conflict. These strategies become default modes of operation, not because we are dishonest, but because we're conditioned to equate protection with identity. The protector uses control to prevent pain. Control is one of the inner protector's favorite tools. If it can anticipate what could go wrong, it can prevent the pain from happening again, or so it thinks. This is the logic behind perfectionism, hyper-independence, and the need to always have the right answer. For instance, someone who felt powerless growing up may become obsessively self-reliant, believing that needing others equals danger. But here's the paradox. The very control meant to keep us safe often becomes the barrier to true connection, spontaneity, and joy. The protector prevents pain, but it also limits freedom. The protector is often afraid of the shadow. Shadow work naturally stirs up emotions the protector doesn't want you to feel: shame, grief, rage, vulnerability. To the protector, those emotions are red flags of danger. So when you start doing inner work, this part of you may try to shut it down. You might feel sudden exhaustion, distraction, denial, or even get emotionally flooded. That's not failure. It's the protector doing its job. But when you meet it with compassion and curiosity rather than resistance, it begins to soften. You can even say, "Thank you for trying to keep me safe. But I'm safe now, and I'm ready to feel." But integration begins with relationship, not rejection. You don't need to get rid of your protector. You need to build a relationship with it. This part of you is often tired, overworked, and stuck in an old story about danger. When you slow down and listen to what it's protecting you from, you start to understand its logic. Maybe it's shielding a child version of you who felt invisible, unsafe, or unloved. Your work now is to thank the protector, reassure it, and begin showing up for the parts it's guarding. Over time, it can evolve from a panicked gatekeeper into a grounded inner ally. Integration doesn't mean removing defenses. It means healing what made them necessary in the first place. Imagine someone named Maya. She's thoughtful, intelligent, deeply sensitive, but no one would know that from the outside. What people do see is a woman who's calm, composed, and always in control. She's the person everyone relies on, the one who always says, "I'm fine," even when she's not. What they don't see is that behind that calm exterior is her inner protector, working overtime. Maya grew up in a home where emotions weren't safe. If she cried, she was told to stop being dramatic. If she got angry, she was punished. So she learned very young that feeling things could get her hurt. Her protector showed up early and said, "Let me take over. If we stay quiet, helpful, and agreeable, we'll be safe." And it worked. She got through her childhood, her teenage years, and even her relationships with this protector front and center. But as Maya gets older, she starts feeling disconnected from herself and from others. She notices that even in close relationships, she holds back. She overanalyzes every word she says. She avoids vulnerability at all costs. And she feels exhausted, but doesn't know why. What's really happening is this. Her inner protector is still running her life from a place of fear. It doesn't realize that Maya is no longer that little girl who had no voice. It thinks she still needs guarding. The protector isn't bad. It's just stuck in an old role. But once Maya begins to notice the pattern, she can gently say, "Thank you for protecting me. I see why you're here. But I don't need to hide anymore." That moment of awareness, acknowledgement, and compassion is where healing begins. The protector softens, the real self starts to emerge, and Maya finally starts feeling safe enough to be herself. Healing your inner protector isn't about tearing down your defenses. It's about understanding why they were built in the first place. It's recognizing that the part of you that avoids vulnerability, overthinks, stays busy, or pushes people away was never trying to hurt you. It was trying to keep you safe. And for a while it did. But you've outgrown the survival strategies that once helped you cope. You're no longer in the same environment. And that means you get to create a new relationship with this protector, one based on trust, not fear. To heal it, you must begin by listening. Ask this part of yourself, what are you protecting me from? When did you first show up? What are you afraid will happen if I let go? These simple questions open the door to deeper understanding. And through consistent compassion, not judgment, you slowly show your protector that the world is not as dangerous as it once was. You begin to replace control with connection, defensiveness with presence, and fear with truth. The more you honor the protector's intention, the more it relaxes its grip. And over time, the protector becomes a partner. Not a gatekeeper driven by trauma, but a wise inner guide, one that knows when to speak and when to step aside. You stop living from a wound and start living from your wholeness. Maya's story is all of our story, and like her, you are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to soften, and most of all, you are allowed to feel safe being fully, unapologetically yourself.